3 Halloween nightmares spread online, and none have ever been explained. A boarding school student wakes to find his own name on a secret list. 2 cousins, years apart, encounter the same cold hand in a rural attic. A child sees a desperate face where no living neighbor should be. These are the internet's most disturbing unresolved stories. Are they urban legend? Or is something far darker unfolding beneath the surface? The answers begin the moment night falls. Night settles over the dormitory, swallowing the last hints of laughter from the hallway. The air feels damp, heavy, as if something unseen has pressed itself against the thin glass windows. He lies awake, sheets tangled around his legs, every muscle locked in place. The clock's red digits blink 2:18. He tries to move, but his body refuses. Arms pinned, chest tight, breath trapped in his throat. A shadow shifts in the far corner. The roommate sits upright on his bed, barely more than a silhouette, head bowed, lips moving in a slow, broken rhythm. The words come out as whispers, syllables, strung together in a language he can't place. Names, maybe. The sound burrows into the silence, scraping at the edges of sleep. He blinks, sweat cooling on his skin, and the paralysis loosens. The roommate is still, eyes closed, mouth shut. For a moment, he wonders if he imagined the whole thing. The next night, the pattern repeats. Paralysis, the same muttering, the sense that someone else is in the room. He wakes with the taste of copper in his mouth and the echo of his own name ringing in his ears. Each night, the unease grows. The roommate's voice grows louder, the words clearer, but never quite understandable. Sometimes, the whispers stop abruptly, replaced by the scraping of a pen across paper. Sleep becomes a negotiation, a bargain struck with whatever keeps him pinned to the mattress. He counts down the hours until daylight, but the darkness always seems to last just a little longer. The sense of being watched never fades. In the morning, the roommate acts as if nothing has happened at all. He finds the notebook by accident wedged between the mattress and the wall, its cover stained and edges curled. Names fill every line, some crossed out, others left untouched. Each one belongs to a student in the dorm, familiar faces from the dining hall and morning roll call. His own name appears near the bottom, written in the same hurried script, the ink still drying. His hands shake as he flips through the pages, heart hammering so loud it drowns out the world. He remembers the whispers, the sleep paralysis, the taste of copper. Now the threat feels real, stitched into the fabric of his everyday life. He can't sleep, can't eat, can't focus in class. Every noise in the hallway sounds like footsteps coming for him. He tries to talk to others, but the words catch in his throat. The roommate's eyes follow him, always just a little too long. The story never leaves him. After posting his account online, he watches the upvote count climb, 820 in a single night. Comments pour in from strangers who claim to know someone with a similar story. More than 10% mention secret lists, journals, or names whispered in the dark. The details morph, retold, and reshared across Reddit, YouTube, and forums. The notebook becomes a symbol, a curse passed from one sleepless night to the next. He reads new versions of his own nightmare, never sure which parts are real and which are inventions. The paranoia never fades. It spreads, multiplying with every retelling, a fear that refuses to die even when the page is closed. The attic at the farmhouse always felt colder than the rest of the house, even in the middle of July. Floorboards groaned under every step, and the only window looked out over empty fields that stretched to the tree line. In the mid-1990s, the older cousin spent his summers there, sleeping in a narrow bed beneath the slanted ceiling. He described the same routine each night, a chill spreading through the room, the air turning thick and hard to breathe. Sometimes, just as he began to drift off, he'd hear footsteps on the stairs or the faint creak of the attic door. That's when the figure would appear, standing at the foot of his bed. Its shape was always the same, tall, thin, face hidden in shadow, arms hanging at its sides. It never moved, never spoke. The only sign of its presence was the sudden drop in temperature and the feeling that something was watching him, waiting for him to fall asleep. Years later, after the older cousin had stopped visiting, the younger one inherited the attic room. Without knowing the details, he began to describe the same experiences. Nights in the attic brought a cold that settled deep in his bones, and he'd wake from uneasy dreams, convinced that someone else was in the room. He remembered the same figure, always in the same spot, always silent. He told his parents about the noises, the cold, the feeling of being observed, but they dismissed it as nerves or an overactive imagination. Yet the details matched perfectly. The footsteps, the shadow at the end of the bed, the way the air felt heavy and strange. Even the timing lined up, late at night, just before the house went completely still. Neither cousin told the other about these nights until much later. When they finally compared memories, every detail fit, right down to the way the attic smelled of dust and old wood. The stories were separated by years, but the pattern never changed. The farmhouse stood in rural Pennsylvania, miles from the nearest neighbor, and the attic seemed to hold on to the memories of every uneasy night spent there. In both accounts, the sense of isolation was as real as the cold, and the presence in the attic became a secret neither could fully explain. The younger cousin's voice trembles as he recalls the first time it happened. He woke, unable to move, the attic colder than ever, the air thick with the smell of dust and something sharp, almost metallic. A weight pressed down on his chest. He tried to scream, but no sound came. Then he felt it. A hand, icy and thin, resting just above his heart. He could feel each finger, bony and deliberate, pressing through his shirt. The sensation lasted only seconds, but the memory stuck, raw and vivid. When he finally told his family, the room fell silent. His parents dismissed it as a nightmare, a trick of the mind. The older cousin, listening from across the table, looked away and said nothing. Later, in private, he admitted he'd felt it too. A cold hand, always in the same spot, always at the edge of sleep. He'd never told anyone until now. Stories like theirs aren't rare. An analysis of attic haunting cases submitted to online archives found that 60% included reports of physical contact. A touch, a grip, a chill crawling up the spine. The original account, posted to Tumblr on June 4th, 2015, described the same tactile encounter, sparking hundreds of reblogs and confessions from strangers who claimed to know the feeling. Some described hands on their faces, others a brush against the ankle, always in places where the air never seemed to warm. The debate splits families and online communities alike. Some insist it's sleep paralysis, a well-documented but terrifying phenomenon. Others refuse to believe it's just the mind playing tricks. The cousin's confession lingers, unresolved, deepening the sense that what lives in the attic isn't content to be seen. It wants to be felt. The dread grows heavier, settling into the bones of anyone who hears the story. A child sits at the window every evening, chin pressed to the glass. Across the narrow alley, a girl in a yellow sweater appears in the second-story window of the old townhouse. She never waves, never smiles, just stares back, unblinking, as dusk settles over the bricks. The pattern repeats for days. Sometimes she stands behind the curtain. Sometimes she leans close enough that her breath fogs the pain. Always silent, always watching. The child's parents dismiss it as a neighbor's kid. But each night the girl returns, her yellow sweater bright against the gloom, her presence as steady as the turning of the clock. The routine settles into the child's bones, a quiet dread that grows heavier with every passing day. The parents demand answers, but the neighbor's reply is always the same. No children live there, no one in a yellow sweater. Records show the townhouse underwent sealed renovations in the late 1980s, with one second-story room marked as inaccessible on city permits. Inquiries turn up nothing. No missing person reports, no official investigation. Across North America, stories like this echo through online archives. Hundreds of sightings, almost none resolved. Out of 147 documented cases of phantom window children, fewer than 5% ever reach a clear explanation. The plea for help lingers, unanswered, long after the window darkens. Across thousands of Reddit upvotes, 60% of attic haunting reports involve physical contact, and less than 5% of documented window child sightings are ever explained. One fact remains: these Halloween stories persist, not because they are solved, but because they are not. The roommates list, first posted in January 2014, echoes real psychological phenomena like sleep paralysis that remain poorly understood. The Pennsylvania attic case, detailed in a 2015 Tumblr post, matches dozens of similar testimonies where families never found answers. The girl in the yellow sweater, tracing back to a 2012 wiki post, stands among 147 recorded sightings that official records still classify as unsolved. Despite repeated investigations and community scrutiny, each story ends with more questions than answers. Today, online forums and archives continue to collect new reports, fueling ongoing debate between believers and skeptics. The evidence does not confirm the supernatural, nor does it fully explain it. What's certain is that these cases endure, haunting the internet and blurring the boundary between memory, fear, and fact.